What can I help you?
Listen up. I'm bringing you the best content to ever exist in the door-to-door industry, from sales, leadership, recruiting, and personal development.
Why would I need that?
Because never before have we been able to collaborate with the top experts in their industries, sharing their secrets and techniques on what makes them the best.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your host, Sam Taggart, creator of the D2D Experts and D2D Con. Is there a place we can sit down?
Well, come on in.
As the leading distributor of structural pest control, Univar provides training, services, and an arsenal of products to help you grow. Our 80 years of experience and industry-leading resource, pestweb.com, provide unmatched opportunities for your company to succeed. Learn more at pestweb.com or call 1-800-888-4897.
If you're on live right now, you're about to listen and get your minds blown by this stud. So we're gonna jump. We're gonna jump into this. Okay, here we go. We're here in a green room right now, but it's not super green for Facebook Live people. It's more just, it's for the university or whatever. So, okay, we're starting this. So, hey everybody, I'm Sam Taggart with the DDD podcast, and I'm here with Kevin Massie, one of the industry greats. So excited to have you on the show. I'll brag about him for a second. There's a reason why I have everybody on these podcasts, and it's I make sure that I pick top talent. He's done over 2,000 accounts in his career. His best year was 337, which is phenomenal. And he does most of those accounts in the summer. It's not like he did, a bunch of preseason. You know what I mean? It's just the consistent throwdown all-star, right? He's like, no, but honestly,
I don't like to sell in the off season as much, so
no, but
summer for sure.
Impressive numbers. A lot of people. What I think is super impressive about your story is your first summer, and we'll get into this a little bit. But it wasn't like he was insta success. A lot of people were like Taylor McCarthy. If you're watching this, his first summer did 400 accounts, and it's like, well, we're not all freaking prodigies.
It's easy to after that.
Exactly. So it's like he went from 40 accounts his first year, almost quitting, to where he's at now. And I think that's something we'll really make sure we touch on. And we, what's really cool, and as we've been talking behind the scenes, we actually just got done. What did we just do?
2 hours of just blabbering.
I know, it's like 2 hours of alarm content for DDDU, and he's super abundant, generous, willing to share some of his nuggets. So I'm excited to get all that edited and make it look pretty so the university's all dope. And then also a big deal is he's speaking at D2DCon virtual coming up in June.
I guess that's a hard close. But
that's a hard close. He is speaking. I'm like, we need him on film and we need him on a workshop. I think he's earned it. He's done a crazy good job at Fluent. And he's been their top sales guy, leader, right? And just
not last year. I got beat out by a couple guys, but
those turds.
My first year at Fluent, the 337 year was
awesome.
Top year,
So awesome job. And I think there's a lot more other than the videos we just filmed, which is 2 hours of content that a lot of us can learn from in June from your workshop. So today what we're going to be doing. So let's kind of dive into it. Tell us kind of how you got into the industry and that quick story in a nutshell.
So I was in Kentucky playing baseball, went to looking for a way to make money. I got recruited by my cousin, Andrew Hatton. A lot of people know him as AJ. So tried to get me to do it in 2008. I said no, realized I was going to play baseball, and then didn't. I still played baseball 4 years of college, but it wasn't paying the bills, obviously. Yeah. So I felt kind of pathetic living off my parents' kind of dime and them paying my rent and everything. So ended up going with them to a competitor. Am I allowed to say names? Or?
Yeah, you can say.
So I went to North Star. It was my first year, and did 40, 42 or something. Ended up doing 9 in a week, and I won the Rookie Madness. But I won like a PS2 or something and a TV. But it was.
Wait, pause there. People didn't catch that. 40 all summer, 9 in a week.
Yeah. So 30 spread across 3 months, basically. So it's not very good. So I made $10,000 the whole year, and honestly hated it. I would sleep on the curbs. I'd get to area and I would literally sleep on the corner in Dallas, Texas in the 100-degree heat, and I would put my binder behind my head and put my hat over my face and literally take a 30-minute nap every day. That was my energy drink. I would pass out for 30 minutes. Cars would drive by, my feet were in the road because I'm literally on the corner. And they were just like,
is he dead?
What's wrong with this kid? And I was like, dude, don't wake me up. If I didn't have a park, that's what I would do.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so I did that every summer and I realized I wasn't hitting my goals. And it took me 2 weeks to get my first sale. So it was not a natural by any means. And I'm still not a natural pure salesman. I just feel like I can outwork the guy next to me.
So you, 2 weeks, no sale, what's going through your mind? Because a lot of people listening to this are hopefully brand new reps getting ramped up for the summer. If you're a manager and you're not sharing this podcast right now with your people, like share this one, because we're going to be touching on some of the best practices to get you moving, right? And it wasn't year one you did 40 and then year two you did 300. How many did you do year two?
So I only did 3 month summers because of school and baseball. So with growing up in Kentucky, school is like gets out like the end of May and then goes back in August. So I only had like 3 months to work with. So after those 2 weeks of not getting anything, I locked myself in the office and watched the old Apex DVD. Even though I was with North Star, I watched that was what they had some content that I would watch online, and it was good.
The best DVD is the Platinum trainings. I think I still have them. They're so good.
Yeah, so
I had DVDs with Jeremy Pixton and Braun Thewison was in it.
Yeah, there's some gold back there back in the day. So I'd watch that and I'd pause it, write down my pitch, write down what I was gonna say, and literally just memorized it. Got a sale the next day. I actually did a sub. You remember we did subs? It was like 75. Yeah, I didn't get anything up front. You get like $75 on the back end. So I don't know if they paid the whole time or not because I didn't really get it back in. But yeah, that was my first sale. It was terrible. It took like 2 hours. But once I got that, like, I ended up kind of like rolling, after that. So my first year, I ended up making like 10 grand. That was it. So
yeah,
more than I made at home.
Well, back then they were paying like $200 a sale.
Yeah,
it was
true.
just like,
that's true.
I mean, I literally remember there was the bronze, the silver, the gold, the platinum pay scales, and I'm like, I didn't even I was making pennies. Yeah. But anyway, so what do you think changed? So you locked yourself in the room, you started watching the videos, and that's when you kind of started rolling. So what best practices?
I wouldn't call it rolling.
But I mean, 40 accounts.
Sales,
you threw down 9 in a week. That's a big week. The other weeks, those naps must have been really nice.
Yeah.
So if you want to be really successful and sell 40, naps are the answer. Write that down.
If that's your goal, 40, take a lot of naps.
Yeah. So what shifted from year one to year two and kind of doubling numbers, and then how do you think, what do you think you did or what changed mentally to kind of go from that to that?
So I was trying to find every way possible not to do alarms again. Like, I hated it, didn't want to do it, had made up my mind I wasn't going to until I realized I had nothing else to do. So finding a summer job was kind of like, what are we going to do, work at a restaurant or something for 3 months? So anyway, so I ended up signing up again, stayed in Kentucky actually. I worked in Kentucky with Apex. So I have to give a huge shout out to Trevor Kronk and
Dude, Trevor and Jared, if you're watching this, you're probably snowmobiling, but
yeah.
Big love.
Not that I didn't get good training at North Star. I had a lot of people that showed a lot of love. I think I knocked 5 days with my trainer.
Oh wow.
Yeah. As AJ. So AJ was my cousin, and he felt like he had to extra baby me, and I was asking him to, and yeah, it was amazing. I saw like 4 or 5 deals. Like, I don't know why he let me do that for so long. But my next year, I walk in the door, and Trevor, and I've texted him and told him thanks for this, but he literally, I walked in my first day, it was like mid-May, and everyone had been selling for a month and a half, and he's like, Kevin Massie's here, he's going to throw down, he's going to show us how to do it, he's going to lead us to victory, we're going to win the cup, we're going to beat Cody Babel, and we're going to crush it. And I'm like, is this the same Kevin Massie? Like, who is he talking about? So he set the bar super high, and literally, I don't know if my cousin told him that I sold 100, but he made it sound like I was this phenom, and so anyway, so the bar was set super high, and I had to fill those shoes. So no naps, couldn't take naps because I held myself accountable. And literally I did 3 that first week. And then I was like, this sucks, man. I'm not filling these shoes. And I did 5. It was Memorial Day. I did 5 on a Monday. So I did 5 in one day. And I think the rest of the summer something clicked, and I didn't do less than like 8 the rest of the summer in a week. So. And
I think what I call it just kind of that click. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes it takes a whole summer to get the click. Sometimes it's 5 days, but it's like once you knew you could do 5 in a day, it's like there's no going back at that point. It's kind of like, okay, I know what I'm capable of. I know what it takes to make an account, and I can go recreate that. And I think many people don't even get to the point where they wait and have that click. Because imagine you had not come back and you would have just kept on the baseball train, the typical college route. where would you be today had you just never done that?
I still got my degree, so I finished school out. I do the 3-month summers, so I did my junior and senior year. My junior year is when I had my first decent year. I sold 120 or something in 3 months, and so it was a good paycheck. I mean, got like a $30,000 back in and bought an Escalade.
Typical summer.
Yeah. Came back, went to school, bought an Escalade on 22.
On 22. The typical sweet bro right here.
Everyone in Kentucky was like, what does this kid do? Like, he's a spoiled brat or something. I thought my parents bought it or something. But so made, close to $60,000 that year. And it was like, wow, like I can pay my own rent now. I can do this and that. And Trevor and Jared just, super, and AJ was there too, and they all just kind of set the bar high that second year, and I hit it and I achieved it. Still hated the job, didn't learn to love it yet, but I was like, wow, I can, actually make some money at this. So, but I got my degree in finance and was planning on going and get my MBA. Graduate school is great, not knocking on furthering your education, but I got my degree and I was like, I'm just going to do it one more time. Full year, hammered out, try to get as many sales as I can. I did like 170 in 2011. 2012 was my first year with no school. So I went out and finished top 25 at Vivint and sold almost 270 or something and bought my first house after that. And I was like, wow, I'm making 6 figures. I mean, my goal at the end of 2012, I don't have any recruits this whole time. I wasn't recruiting, no preseasons, not managing. Trevor and Jared were nice enough to let me be a traveling trainer, which taught me a lot, helped me really how to teach guys, and guys saw that and they knew I cared about them even though I wasn't making anything off them. And so that's how I learned to survive in this industry. Too many times do people start out in the industry and they're like, how can I get rich quick? How can I make a lot of money fast? And they don't care about the rep. And so that's, I do make really good money and I love it and I like being able to train and reap those benefits, but that's not how it started. I didn't recruit until 5 years in. So, but anyway, so in 2012, my goal was to have $100,000 in my bank account at the end of the year, and my back end was $99,000 that year from Vivint with no recruits, just selling.
That's awesome.
And it was eye-opening. I actually had like 40 or 50,000 in my account at that time, so I way surpassed my goal. But it was a really cool feeling, being able to buy my first house.
So you didn't go to buy a better Escalade?
No. So
not a Lambo?
I sold the Escalade after that. I only had that car for like 4 months. I sold it because I was like, I'm not going to drive this for summer. I'm not going to drive this door, to my area. So I sold it and bought and I was running out of money. I was paying, gas was like $3 a gallon. That was a lot back then. So I ended up buying a salvaged Lexus, a little IS 350. It was a fun car, awesome car, but it was like $10,000, So I sold this $20,000 Escalade, bought a $10,000 Lexus, and drove that around for like 3 years. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk on, if you're listening, make sure to keep listening because we're going to actually talk on your shift that you went from spending a ton of money on Escalades to now owning 13 properties, having a ton in the stocks, playing with like different investments and letting your money grow. But before I get to that, I want to talk a little bit on your mentality of being consistent. Because, off camera, we were talking a lot about, like, you're never the guy that's throwing down a 10-day or an 8-day or, you had an 8-day once. But I think it's something that many people think in order to be the big dog, I need to be able to sell 5 a day or 10 a day, or, whatever number. And I think what was unique about you is your ability to just kind of be that steady Eddie. Like, how do you stay consistent in such a roller coaster job would be the question.
I think my reps kind of get bored with me and they get annoyed with me because it's like, I'm not going away. Like I'm going to be there every single day. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hit 2 or 3 every single day. And I'm okay with that. Like, I think I should kind of raise the bar for myself a little bit, but I know if I want to sell 300 a year, I got to be out there I got to be doing 14 a week basically to hit that. And I have a few preseasons, but I still only do like 20 or 30 preseasons typically. But yeah, the steady Eddie and the not throwing down a ton. It's just, my cousin actually had introduced me to a book called The Slight Edge. I don't know if you've read it. It's just a kind of a compound interest, compounding effect book, and kind of opened my eyes to this bigger picture. And if we do something every single day for 5 years, where are you going to be? It's just what do you call it? charts. Your chart's going to go up or it's going to go down. If you're not reading something every day, if you're not, if you're a religious person, you're not praying every day. If you're not, reading your scriptures every day, things like that. If you don't do that, where are you going to be in 5 years versus where you'll be if you do it every day, even for just 5 minutes? So that's the way I feel about sales. If I'm constantly just being consistent, because we have a lot of variables in sales, a lot of inconsistencies. If we can eliminate all those inconsistencies and just be, just leave the inconsistencies to the customers, it makes it a lot easier for ourselves. If you're not showing up to work the same time every day, it's not going to work in your favor. So if I hold myself, and I should probably work longer, but 2 o'clock, I'm freaking out if I'm not on the doors by 2 o'clock. And I work till, a lot of guys work past dark. I'm not a big nighttime knocker. I'm sure I'd sell more. Trevor Frank's a huge nighttime knocker, closes after dark every night.
The difference between 3 and 400.
That's
I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I'm like, guys, the difference between 300 and 400 is selling after dark. But I'm not here to,
train me. Yeah. So I would never rule that out. I'm not, being a know-it-all is I think the worst thing you can possibly do in any industry. So I'm always looking for pointers from even my first years. They might think of something that I've never thought of. So, but constantly learning, constantly striving to do better, but don't let the bullcrap bug you. Whether it's a rental property call. My wife's amazing. She makes it possible to where I can sell because she will handle those properties during the summertime. We self-manage everything, but I get calls. I just don't answer them. I don't look for an opportunity to come up the doors because that annoys the crap out of me. If a rep calls me, customer calls me, family calls me, unless it's a dire emergency, I do not answer.
And I think it's something to be said, because what happens is the second you take that phone call, it takes you out of your rhythm. Because I feel like it's almost like you get a rhythm in the day. It's like, all right, I'm getting some momentum. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got to deal with this stupid thing and check this email and send this. And darn it, he's doing I got to go get, and all of a sudden, now you got to get back in this rhythm. And it's like, if that happens 2-3 times, how do you be consistent?
Yeah, I've taken one sick day other than that first year where I napped every day. I've taken one sick day in the whole, I guess it's my 10th year. I started in 2009, so this will be year 10. And it was, I woke up one Saturday and literally could not walk. It was the weirdest thing. I was gone after that day, but that's the only sick day I've ever taken. I've gone home for one wedding. There's my brother, but other than that, if it's a family vacation, if it's a reunion, whatever it is, I miss it. So
how many times do you see reps travel 4 or 5 times in the summer and try to throw down? I mean, it's just you get out of your rhythm. And I'd tell some reps when I manage them, I'd be like, all right, if you go home, just don't come back. Well, and good reps, and they're like, I was like, well, it's fine, you can go. I just know what'll happen if you go. A week before the vacation, you're going to not sell. Mm-hmm. A week after the vacation, you're not going to sell. And I've just seen it over and over and over again. So,
and especially if I only work 5 months out of the year, if I take one day off, it's like taking 3 days off for a normal person. So if I take a week off, that's like taking 3 weeks off. And normal people don't do 3 weeks off. They might do 1 week. So if I take one day, okay, but it's going to mess up your rhythm. It's going to mess up your, I just don't like it.
I've done a ton of these. What's crazy, I've done a ton of these with top producers, and that is a very common trait. And a lot of people call them crazy. They're like, well, how do you have balance? And how do you? I'm like, dude, we're talking 5 months. Yeah. What are you doing the other? Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing the other? I
just got back from Iceland and Paris. So I trust me, I party hard. I like to have fun. I'm not just this robot that only sells. I've been to California 5 times this offseason, more than ever, and I have a 18-month-old. So I thought I was going to stop traveling, but it's actually my wife and I, when we were didn't have any kids yet, we took a month and went around the world. Awesome. That was a goal we wanted to have, and I'm standing on. It's important to have what's your why. Something like a holy cause, and Satya Magali talks about that a lot. A lot of guys talk about what's your why. And one goal I've had since I was little was to travel around the world. And to reward myself and hit that goal, when my wife and I went all the way around and we completed our journey in Hawaii, it was emotional for me. I'm looking over the cliffs of Hawaii, on a volcanic beach, and I'm just in tears. I've achieved something that I've always wanted to do. And it's just really, really cool feeling. So don't feel bad rewarding yourself for the successes.
Yeah, and I think it's when you need to work hard. Mm-hmm. And it's I broke my ankle one summer. Yeah. The year I did 400, And I was like, I'll drive, I'll scooter, I'll do what it takes. And I didn't take that day off. Like, I think too many people find the excuse not to work instead of the excuse to make it happen.
What year did you do that?
2014.
Yeah. So when he did that, I was following you on Facebook, and I was like, this guy's a freak. Like, I have no excuse. Like, I was blown away. So like that, I mean, things like that, guys think it's just easier for top guys, and it's not. It's not any easier for top guy or bottom guy. It's just they don't take the bull crap. You know, they don't look at an opportunity. I mean, I have some reps where they'll find an opportunity where, oh, I got a flat tire. Perfect. I'm done knocking.
Yeah, it's like I'll make it drag out an extra 3 hours when I could hurry.
It's gonna
call a
rain.
ride, leave it on the side of the road, get picked up, like hurry to area. Like,
it's gonna rain today? No way. Awesome. Like,
yeah.
like instead of like, I'm pissed it's gonna rain today, now I gotta bring my raincoat and I'm gonna be sweating my butt off. Like, they're like, oh sweet, okay, I'll sit at the Taco Bell or whatever. You know, it's just different mentality. You have to have that killer mentality. You gotta learn to love the job. Like, I honestly love the job. Like, I know a lot of guys like, don't you want to stop knocking doors? Like, don't you want to eventually not? Like, eventually, but not yet. Like, I'm not done with it yet.
You got some fuel in the
I
tank.
got some goals to hit. You know, I got some stuff I want to do. So
I love it.
You gotta have that fire. If you hate what you do, you're not gonna be successful.
So we're now going to kind of transition, and that kind of segues me perfectly, because you love what you do, but you're also making phenomenal money to where you can achieve and accomplish goals like travel around the world, but you're also working towards probably a bigger goal, which is more financial freedom. And that's what I think is super unique, which I don't think a lot of people take enough advantage of in this job. I think people fail to realize I have an opportunity. Like, I just sold 2 of my investment properties, and
I almost bought one of them.
Dude, but I made $100,000 in equity on that for sitting on it. And it was like, I realized it's like, well, that is a way to make my money grow. And when I want to go build my dream home, which I'm about to break ground, it's like,
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm not doing this
cool.
too, but I'm just saying,
Cool.
I was able to do that not off any money I made in direct sales. I actually did it all on real estate money. And people are like, well, you know, oh, Sam's doing this and that. I'm like, no, I just sold some investments and it worked out to where I can now afford my dream home. Yeah. And I think you're probably in a position where you've gained a ton of equity in your real estate. You have a cash flow, I'm assuming. Like, how'd you get into that? I guess the most question people ask, they're like, well, I don't know anything about real estate. You know what I mean? Like, I guess how'd you start?
So I started in 2012. You know, getting a $99,000 check was kind of crazy, and I knew right away I was going to buy a house. Graham Wood is the owner of Fluent, CEO, and that's kind of one of my mentors now. You know, I really look up to what he's done, and he's owned over hundreds of properties at one time, at any given time. Now he's putting all of his money back into Fluent, of course, but his goal and something he's taught me, and I've only known him or worked with him for 3 years now, but that kind of motivated me to kickstart to another level. Whereas when I first bought my first house in 2012, just a condo over in the Riverwoods at the Arbor. So lived in it, you know, that was my goal, just want to own a house. And reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, things like that kind of always had me in that financial mentality where, hey, I want to make my money work for me. And so that's what I first did. And then I did the 20% down or whatever, so that way I didn't have the PMI, the mortgage insurance. So saved some money there. But I bought it at a good time. You know, now the market's really high and it's hard to get in, but there's always ways to make money. Like, don't rule yourself out just because the market's really crazy. I bought 5 properties last year. So like, when the market was hot last year too. So you don't rule things out. Sometimes the more you think about something, like I believe in The Secret. You know, you think about stuff, the universe is going to deliver, and whether you believe in prayer or the universe or whatever, you know, I'm constantly just looking for a chance. I'll lay in bed till midnight, 1 a.m, and just be looking at listings.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, that's me. I literally looked at it yesterday. I'm like, wait, I'm building like, why would I even be thinking? I'm like, well, just in case.
Yeah, just something's out there. Just
in case.
Put in a lot of offers. You know, put in offers everywhere because it doesn't hurt you to, you know, put in an offer and maybe get accepted.
Tip 1. Right there, because I think so many people, the biggest fear is they never even make an offer. Mm-hmm. I mean, 3 of my properties I bought sight unseen. Within 5 minutes of a conversation with a realtor, he's like, you need to buy this right now. It's going to get a ton of offers. Hit the market this morning. Go. Do you want it, or else I'm going to give it to somebody else? I'm like, all right. And I think it's just put in an offer. If I back out and they accept it and I back out in 2 weeks, like,
you have a good realtor, they'll they get you out of not that you're trying to break contracts or anything, but you can literally get out of anything for, hey, you're not going to fix that hole in the floor, or you're not going to fix that door jam.
No deal.
No deal. Yeah, like little things like that. Like it's very easy. Don't be scared of that. I bought, I think every single house I don't see.
Really?
Yeah, every single one.
So how do you find them?
So it's good to have connections, make business partners. I don't have any partners in real estate, but I have a good real estate buddy. I work with Dwayne Richens here in Utah, and then I have a good real estate buddy in Kentucky who I went to school with, and I've always got plugs out there. He's just looking for me. He knows I'm interested, so he'll send me things first. And I bought one house from a lady that had passed, two people that had passed away, honestly.
Wow.
I had a family friend who she had passed away, and before the house went to market, they asked me if I wanted it, and bought a house that was worth probably $130 and got it for $80, things like that. But if you're not constantly looking for those opportunities, my mom just kind of said, oh, my son might be interested in this. So I said, yeah, sure. Let's take it. I'd never seen it until I saw it actually after it was remodeled. So I never even saw it before then. So, so I called some painters, told them to go paint it, told them I wasn't done, saw some videos. But housing is amazing. To own a piece of land is the coolest thing in the world. So cash flow on all of them. And there's people that own way more properties than me. 13.
But it's still
13
a
if you
lot.
count my own home. It's a lot, but it's it's just getting my feet wet. Because when you get to 13, I always thought if I have over 10, I'm gonna be good.
Now
I'm like, why don't I have 20?
Yeah,
I have
free.
13. It's kind of turns into an addiction. But I don't jump at just everything. But you just got to get your feet wet somewhere. You gotta, and I've taught myself. I didn't have a investor buddy that said, do this, do that. You just self-educate, and you don't get scared away from it. As long as you're making enough money to protect yourself, especially with rentals,
yeah, as long as I know my vacancy is not going to be crazy high, my rent's going to cover my mortgage and hopefully cash flow. And I always shoot for, my goal is $300 to $500 at least per property.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, just get in. I've told so many people. I was skiing on Saturday with a buddy, and I was like, Andrew, you've told me you wanted to buy real estate for 5 years. Had you bought it when I bought it, and you had the money, what do you do? He's like, well, I put in mutual funds. I'm like, that's cool, but you've told me you want real estate. But it's just a scarier thing. But in reality, once you do it once or twice, it's kind of
my parents were telling me don't buy a second house. Are you kidding me? Don't buy a house. Don't buy a house. You already got one. They were scared for me. And if I had listened to that, then I would not be where I am today. It's just extra money. I think I profit cash flow $60,000 a year. I could technically probably live off that. Not that I want to, but you just got to create different avenues of wealth, and you got to get started somewhere. You just got to get started. I went to school for finance, so I love stock investing and mutual funds and all that stuff. And I'm not super good at that either. I do the Warren Buffett strategy, which is buy and hold. If you don't need it for 30 years, you're going to be okay. Yeah. Whether it goes up and down, if you check it every day, you're going to go crazy. So don't ever check it.
So my two nuggets here, and I think one thing that you said but you haven't really iterated is 99 grand back end. It's almost like that never existed. You don't go buy the Escalade. You don't go buy something because it's fun. You said, I'm going to hide this.
So I bought the Riverwoods, the Arbor, the condominium. So I bought that one. I think some Vivint guys live over there. It's a real nice building, and bought it for $198,000 back in the day. Put $50,000 down or $60,000 down, and that is now worth close to $300,000. So I turned $50,000 of that back end into, you could essentially say, $150,000.
Yep.
And then any equity I have, I think I only owe $100 on that. So I could probably pull out $200K right there. So it's probably that $50K has turned into $200K over 6 years.
It's crazy.
So you just gotta get started somewhere.
And I think people need to realize that it doesn't take a ton of capital, and most people make a ton of money in this. Or let's say it makes 70. It's great, go put 20 into a house. You can live cheap. You can live poor. You drive a $10,000 car, and it's my car right now, I have a 2011. And it's because I was so diligent on putting my money somewhere else. So if you're watching this or listening, either every day, every paycheck, put it away, or take your back in and pretend it never happened.
Yeah, because it's gonna go somewhere. And if it's not in something, it's not going up.
Yep.
So even if you buy a mutual fund, maxing out your Roth IRA is something everyone should do every single year because it grows tax-free. So you want to set up an IRA for you and your wife and put $5,500 into it every year and buy Apple, buy Amazon, buy Facebook, buy something and it will go up. Granted, there might be a crash, there might be this or that, but if you don't need it till you're 60, you're going to be okay, and it's going to grow a lot tax-free. So did that flash or something? Is that good?
Yeah, we can just keep going.
Okay, so that's good. So, but yeah, that's how I got into it. Don't be scared of it. Don't freak out. Saving, pay your tithing. Whatever you got to do there, believe in. But just don't use it as an excuse because it's going to get spent. You're going to spend it on something.
If it's in your bank account, you'll spend it 100%. So let's kind of wrap up. The last thing I would ask, and this has been awesome. If you guys like this, share it. Give Kevin some love because I think I'm just excited because you got more in you and I know that. So DD come virtual, I'm like, this will be good. But I wanted to say one question I ask everybody is if you could give one piece of advice to the door-to-door industry as a whole, what advice would you give them?
Don't listen to all the people say that it's too hard because that's something we hear a lot that it's too hard to sell door-to-doors. It's becoming too saturated. There's always going to be a customer. I used to sell, 2008, 2009, I was selling landline Honeywell Link systems. And I didn't have a smartphone. I had a flip phone and I printed my area out on a map and highlighted it and that's what I worked. I didn't know a customer's name before I knocked on the door. I didn't know anything. So if anything, the industry is easier in my mind, because you have so much knowledge before you go to the door. You have their name, you can create credibility, customers around them. You can literally name drop super easy with all the tools that we have. But don't listen to people that say, hey, it's not attainable, it's not doable, or you have to be shady to be successful in it, because I'm one of the most upfront sales reps, I think, that I know.
Which I saw all that in the university. We did pitch after pitch after pitch, and I take that into account. Let's maybe twist that. And not once I had to be let's redo that sketch. And that's something to say for guys. You can sell big volume without having to be some sketchball.
Yeah, you just have to be super confident. Fake it till you make it is something I believe in 100%. That's what I did at the beginning. Jordan Williams, I never met or hung out with him, but
he'll be speaking at DDCon virtual too. So Jordan, if you're watching this, much love.
So a lot of respect. I owe him a bunch of thank yous because I kind of mimicked or copied his pitch from the beginning. The meter reader, that's something I just, if I'm supposed to be in that area, then I'm the one that they need to talk to. I need to have that attitude. I need to have hey, everyone's gonna be talking to me. Everyone's gonna be signing up. You obviously don't understand what I'm saying. There must have been something you missed for you to not want to sign up with me. Let me try this again. So learned a lot from that, just having that confidence and not letting people tell you can't do it. It's so many people feel like it's just supposed to come easy. Why can't I be like this regional or this regional? He's got it made in the shade. Those guys busted their butts to get where they are. And I honestly, I don't have 50 teams underneath me. I don't really worry about recruiting. I probably should. I need to watch some of your training materials from Chad and Dave Allred and all those guys on recruiting. Ones. I've watched a lot of them, but having, that's how they busted their butt to get where they are. It's not just given to anybody. And that's the mentality. If you ever feel it creeping in your mind, I need to go get paid more elsewhere, that happens a lot. Something I really believe in and I push a lot is the grass is only greener the grass is always greener where you water it. If the person's grass is greener over there, it's because they're spending more time taking care of their grass.
100%.
So at Fluent, I've been with Apex, Vivint, and then we did our own company for a couple of years with Sherman Dangerfield and Ryan Curtis and Andrew Hatton. It was great, a lot of work. Running your own thing, dealer company, was very hard. Learned a lot, and we took all that knowledge and Graham Wood presented a huge opportunity with Fluent where we could incorporate what we were already doing there and we've run with it, and I've sold the highest numbers ever getting paid less. 100% honest. I don't get paid it's not chasing the big money. I feel like that's where guys honestly end up failing because they.
Yeah, because you sell this multiple, do my own dealer,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're like, but I sold less, so technically it evened out.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're doing your own customer service calls, if you're installing your own jobs, some of these companies that pay multiples, they don't have technicians that I would trust with, my car keys. So like it's just. It's give and take. Like if you're getting paid more, you're giving up something.
Yep.
So at Fluent, everyone's got their places where they're comfortable, but at Fluent, it's been a huge opportunity because I literally don't have to do anything. Customer calls me, and this was the same way at a lot of the big companies at Vivint, the same way. Like I would just send an email to tech support, let them take care of it, and I can focus on training my guys, selling my accounts. So don't always chase the big money. Don't chase the I'm going to go get paid this or that. And then get guys that do, that's fine. More power to them. I'm not, saying that they can't do well. There's successful people everywhere at every company, but don't get caught up in that because you can really derail from your goals.
100%.
So yeah, just that's something I believe in. Be confident. Don't let someone tell you the industry's getting too hard or, it's not, you have to be shady or something. And then just don't focus on other people's grass looking so green. Just take the time to invest into where you're at and you'll have what other people want.
Love that. No, dude, nugget after nugget. I feel like just sitting here taking nuggets. So if you're watching this, like this, share it, give them a big thumbs up. Like I've learned a ton. Like I'm like ready to take notes. But thank you so much for your time, Kevin.
Yeah,
this has been awesome.
When you called me, I don't feel like this is somewhere I belong at all.
You belong in the hot seat, man. Take pride.
It's been a pleasure getting to know. I love watching all your. So a lot of guys think that I don't watch things just because I've sold over 300 accounts. I watch more things than any of even my own reps. I'm always on your site and sending it to guys and saying, hey, watch this, listen to this, it's good. Because that's the only way you get better. The industry will become too hard if you're not constantly evolving and getting smarter and better. So what you've done is paved the way to where guys can actually get better. It's up to them. You can't lead a horse to water and make it drink, but you've given us everything we need. So
thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, much love. Love you guys.